It's history! And we are live, man! AEW Dynamite is kicking off. A very historic week, ladies and gentlemen. This Friday, it all comes to a boil inside the United Center. Tonight was the calm before the storm in Houston, Texas. MJF versus Chris Jericho and the fifth and final labor of Jericho. What does this mean for MJF moving forward now that he has finally conquered Chris Jericho? The Young Bucks and Jurassic Express put on a damn good tag team title match. But who exactly is going to take down the Bucks of Youth? Sammy Guevara and Shawn Spears. Crazy tonight in Houston. And Sting. 20 years since he's wrestled on TNT, and damn, does he look good. You know what else looks good? This podcast in your subscription boxes. Why? Because we're the number one source of everything in the IWC, and nobody does it better. This is your AEW Dynamite post show on Off the Script. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us right here on Off the Script. This is your AEW Dynamite post show for August 18th, 2021. I am JD from New York. I am joined by my very good friend, Jesse. This is the OTS, or at least I'm in the venue. Jesse's wherever he is, man. Jesse, what's going on, man? Do you feel it? Do you feel it, brother? We are about to embark on history, man. I can't wait.
I got the goosebumps, man.
I know. One more day, bro. One more day, and we got it. You'll be there.
I'll be there live and in person, brother. I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
This is unprecedented, ladies and gentlemen. I can't believe how many people have just inquired to me and asked my opinion on this since it's been announced. I think it's all but a formality right now. CM Punk will be on AEW Dynamite. Rampage, rather, coming out of Dynamite on Rampage Friday night in the United Center. And it will be not too long before he is on a Dynamite. But, Jesse, we have a lot to go over. CM Punk is pretty much inevitable on Friday night. We had a lot to unpack tonight on Dynamite. And, damn, it was a good show, man. The show started off hot. Tony Khan didn't overexert himself tonight with booking a ton of matches on the 2-hour show that was Dynamite tonight. We got a nice, solid 4-match card. I like what he's doing with the flow of the show lately. And we had some damn good wrestling on tonight's show, man, especially that hot open with Sting. What'd you think of the show tonight? What'd you think of the energy in Houston? I know the last couple of weeks have been lacking, just me speaking from personal preference, lacking in the excitement department. But like we both said on the show, it's the calm before the storm. What'd you think of Dynamite tonight and how hot it was going into the United Center on Friday? I think, and you think, I know you do, the fans just feel it in the air, man.
It felt like, man, it was from the start of the show. I mean, all the way up into each commercial break that came on, I kept taking a step back and saying, wow, that was a pretty good segment. And then the next segment comes on, the next commercial break comes on. I'm like, wow, that was even better than the last one. And after a while, I'm sitting there like, it feels like a damn pay-per-view on TV right now. It felt like, you know, the famous Paul Heyman speech in ECW, this is the dance speech.
Yep.
It felt like everybody in that locker room got that fucking speech before they came out tonight. They were all fucking. Everybody was intense. Everyone.
Well, how do you think that locker room feels? I know, you know, if I was a betting man, I'd probably say most of them kind of are just going off of base of what the fans are thinking. But I mean, I don't know who knows and who doesn't know what's going on backstage. I would assume that Tony Khan isn't the one to just blab to everybody, yep, yeah, he's coming in and yada, yada, yada. I think they know just as much as we, the fans, do. But, you know, can you imagine that locker room feeling and hearing everything about what's happening on Friday and how it's going to be going into All Out and then going into Grand Slam in New York City on September 22nd? It's almost as if this energy is making everybody better, and we haven't even gotten there yet. I mean, everybody was on fire tonight. I mean, you had the Bucks doing their thing. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus had a newfound energy that I haven't seen together in many, many, many months. I mean, you got 2.0 coming over from the fucking depths of NXT doing nothing. I mean, they were in probably one of the hottest matches on Dynamite all year tonight with Sting in Houston and Darby Allin. I mean, everybody's feeling it. They need to step up, but I think everybody around this energy of CM Punk is just naturally going to get better because of what it means to this company.
It does, man. And at this point, at this stage of the game, it's no longer. AEW is the talk of the wrestling world everywhere, and everybody's looking towards this coming Friday. So it's a foregone conclusion that he's there. If he does not show up, AEW has zero credibility anywhere.
Yeah.
So and they would, and at this point they would make it clear instead of continuing to drop more Punk hints and everything else. So that's no longer a question. He will be there. But I mean, it's all for good reason, man, because we've been in this wrestling funk for years, and we've been just forced to either watch what we got on TV or dip into the indie scene. And now we actually have the kind of wrestling that we want. I don't even want to say it's an alternative, to be honest with you. It just feels like the wrestling that we want. WWE is the alternative because that's not real wrestling.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. I absolutely agree. It's not really a case of AEW being the alternative anymore. They are what pro wrestling should be, and I don't want to stroke their ego. I don't want to stroke Tony Khan's ego. And I joke around. I call him TK as if everybody thinks I'm on the fucking payroll now anyway. So it really doesn't matter. But you're right. WWE is the alternative. If you don't want professional wrestling, then go watch the alternative. There you go. Monday and Friday night. Beautiful.
Yeah, might as well.
But man, we got a lot to unpack tonight. Dynamite was awesome. We're going to go over what happened on the show. Obviously, we're going to go over the CM Punk rumors. And there are still a ton of rumors out there, innuendos, people talking about it on fucking football analysis shows. Fox is talking about it. And Kenny Omega seems to be wearing CM Punk-like catchphrases on his T-shirt every single week. So, I mean, they're even playing up to the fact that he may be coming in on Friday night. But we're going to go over all of that. And I thank you guys so very much for joining me here on Off the Script with Jesse. This is your Dynamite review for August 18th, 2021. Jesse, how excited are you for SummerSlam coming up on Saturday night?
It is this weekend, isn't it?
It is Saturday afternoon, yes.
It is Saturday, okay. I don't know. I kind of want to see Roman and Cena. And
wait. You mean to tell me you're more excited about that match than Eva Marie and Alexa Bliss?
Oh, that's a given.
That's a match of your candidate, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm kind of looking forward to it because I got a feeling that Eva is not going to wrestle, and they're going to put Piper Niven in to wrestle Alexa Bliss, which I might sit and watch.
Who?
Piper. No way. It's Piper fucking Niven. Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
I'm not saying that bullshit.
You mean Doudrop?
I don't know who that is.
Okay. So I guess we're on a stalemate then.
Yes.
Well, SummerSlam, guys, the reason why I ask, and this is not a SummerSlam prediction show, but, SummerSlam is Saturday. I will be live on the podcast here right after the show goes off the air. I might be doing a live prediction show. I have not decided yet, but I don't really know what there is to predict. I mean, the show looks rather lackluster, if you ask me. I mean, WWE once again dropped the ball and takes everything for granted. No, really no surprise there, but SummerSlam is Saturday. I'll be live on YouTube, on Off the Script. After the show goes off the air, we'll be partying it up, man. Off the Script is going to be a bigger party than whatever SummerSlam produces on Saturday night. I will tell you that. And I got a giveaway happening on Saturday. I will announce that on Twitter sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours. So look forward to that. But I will be live. I'll be live on Friday for SmackDown and Rampage, which is the CM Punk supposed debut inside the United Center First Dance. So make sure you guys set your notifications and join me on both of those live streams coming up in the next couple of days. If you missed any of the content on the channel, go and check that out. Everything you need is on the homepage. Monday Night Raw and Off the Script last weekend, they are there. Uploaded an extra today as well in regards to Adam Cole Bay and what his impending WWE status is going into this Sunday's NXT TakeOver 36, which I will also be live for. So it's going to be a major jam-packed weekend, ladies and gentlemen. So I uploaded that extra today. Go and check that out. It is on the homepage right now. So when you're done here, you guys can go over there and check it out. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to follow Jesse, you see his @ on the screen there. Go and check him out on Twitter as well. If you guys want to support the podcast through several different options, you certainly can do that. Number one is Patreon. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. That is one of the best ways to do that because you're going to get some merchandise back just for supporting, man. We got the Dugout mugs engraved with the Off the Script logo. We got the Are We Live t-shirts, only available for these two items on the Patreon when you sign up for an annual subscription. That's patreon.com/JD from NY206. We got Bonfire now being partnered through YouTube. So if you guys want some Off the Script merchandise, and I know there are a lot of people in here right now. I'm looking at 2,100 inside the venue for AEW Dynamite. If you guys want some great Off the Script merchandise, all you got to do is look under the video player right now on YouTube, and you're going to see a line of merchandise that'll take you right directly to Bonfire, man. You guys want anything on the shop? It is right there for you. Easy as Titus's cake. Believe me. So go check out Bonfire. Bonfire.com is the exclusive home of Off the Script and the podcast. Today's show is sponsored by my great friends over at Dr. Squatch. It's going to be a muggy August, ladies and gentlemen, as indicated already by the weather here in New York City. But if you guys want to smell good going into these major shows, and you guys don't want to smell and look like a wrestling geek, a typical wrestling geek, make sure you guys go and get some Dr. Squatch, man. DrSquatch.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout. I believe, and I think some of my subscribers, I've seen some people on Twitter post the new Star Wars soap bundle. It is all correlating to all of your favorite characters in the Star Wars series. They got a Yoda soap. They got a Darth Vader and a Darth Maul soap. I don't know what they smell like, but it's Dr. Squatch, so you know you're getting some good shit, man. So go check that out. That's DrSquatch.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout to save 20% off. That's enough from me, man. Jesse, how's it looking like in Chicago, man? We're going to start off with some news. I know you texted me yesterday about new mandates going into not only the First Dance, but you and I, buddy, will be wearing fucking face masks going into All Out, man. What's going on in the city of Chicago?
The rule did roll out. for mandatory masks back to indoors and everything else. But I got to tell you, from everywhere I've been around town these days, nobody's actually following that. I'm going to be very honest with you.
Nobody's following mask mandated rules
when you get to the United Center. But as of right now, like in around the stores and everything else, nobody's following that new rule.
Nobody's wearing masks in the supermarkets or anywhere where they go out and sit down to have a bite to eat or a bar or anything like that. Nobody's wearing masks.
No, absolutely no. Nothing like, especially nothing like it was, a year ago when everybody had to wear masks. It was kind of like one of those things. If you didn't, you were shunned. But now, it's seriously, it's assumed you're vaccinated. It's assumed that people who are wearing masks are not vaccinated.
Yep.
But nobody's wearing masks.
Now, what do you think that is? What do you think that is? Are people just sick and tired of it? They don't want to go through the remainder of their beautiful summer days wearing fucking face masks and all this rules and mandates. What's going on with that?
It could be a couple of things. One, the rule just rolled out yesterday. So maybe no one's really enforcing it yet, but none of the business are enforcing it, which is going to be the telling thing. So if they start finding businesses and everything else, then it'll become mandatory. But until then, businesses aren't making people go back to masks, and not yet, at least. But again, it just rolled out yesterday, so we'll see where we are, a few days from now. But at least maybe at All Out it'll be different. But at least for Rampage right now, I really don't expect to see too many people in masks.
Well, it is what it is. I guess we'll monitor it as we get closer to All Out and how I will see what happens with my own eyes when I get there. I know when I get on the plane, I'm going to need the mask on the plane. It may be different when I get there in a couple of weeks. So we'll see what happens. I really don't want to sit through a 4-hour wrestling show wearing a mask. But
John Roy in the chat just said that the new rule rolls out Friday.
Okay, so there you go.
So we'll see. So, Friday is the show. So we'll see on day one if people jump right back into masks or not.
All right. Well, it is what it is. And I said it a couple of weeks ago. It's a very, very, very small price to pay with these shows. Obviously, anybody is going to abide by this compared to canceling these shows altogether and then forcing AEW back to Daly's place. We don't want that. So, like I said, it's a very small price to pay. We are in some of the greatest days that AEW will ever see right now with Punk and Bryan and their impending debuts, and these three shows, actually, the one in New York City as well. So, again, it's a very small price to pay, so we'll monitor as we get closer to All Out. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone 2.5 weeks from now as we get into September 5th. But, Jesse, we have news on CM Punk. Speaking of Friday, Punk, Rampage, it's the talk of the town. Punk's impending debut was mentioned on the NFL Network. Did you see or hear about this story?
I did not.
During the NFL Network's recap of the Chicago Bears and Miami Dolphins game, Adam Rank, who I guess is one of the analysis guys there, described Justin Fields' debut as the most anticipated debut in Chicago until this Friday, he says, when CM Punk shows up on AEW. Now, on Rampage this past Friday, they aired the Darby Allin promo again. We've been seeing it for the last couple of weeks, where he talks about wanting to face the best in the world, and fans are already taking that as a clear sign right from day one that CM Punk is going to debut Friday on Rampage inside the United Center. And with All Out just a couple of weeks away, we may find out if Punk is going to wrestle on Rampage, on Dynamite, on All Out. We don't know what his plans are. And I had a lot to say about his plans, quote unquote, on Twitter Spaces today with my buddy Ticket Drew. But, Jesse, even the NFL Network is in on what's going on here. The biggest debut since CM Punk on Friday showing up on AEW.
Man, I don't know, man. It seems like a done deal. Especially with TK and his NFL ties. Maybe this guy already knows something that we don't. That's
a good point, too. Jericho, actually, I believe someone told me today, again, it was on the Twitter Spaces with Drew Badalla and his co-host Blake. He mentioned something about TNT not being happy when Sting made his debut at Winter is Coming. TNT wanted something like that to be advertised in advance because of how big Sting is as a name in the pro wrestling landscape. Now, obviously, TNT, they went out and said, I think we're under the assumption, and I think we feel pretty comfortable that he is showing up. Tony Khan mentioned on Busted Open Radio, of all places, he said, quote unquote, I think the fans know what to expect on Friday night. inside the United Center. Now, with all the teases that have been going on with CM Punk, is AEW doing enough to get people excited about this? Do they need to do more, or should they have done more leading into this? Do you like the mix of kind of innuendos being thrown out there to the general public while keeping this a major surprise as well, even though we all know it's not? But how do you handle, or how do you feel about AEW and Tony Khan handling all of the CM Punk situation? Is it the right mix?
I think it is. You know, I heard some of that conversation early, and the thing is, you have fans to make happy, and at the same time, you have a network to make happy. So, how do you do both? Yeah. There was when Cena came back. I actually think WWE did this right.
Yes,
and it's kind of what Tony Khan is doing. You make your big surprise at a pay-per-view. And with the anticipation already building for Punk, I mean, it's not like it's a huge surprise, but at the same time, it hasn't happened. So once it happened on a pay-per-view, now you have that feeling of, man, I should be getting these pay-per-views because big stuff is going down and everything else. So I missed it. And then you can start advertising from the time he debuts. You start advertising to the next show that Punk will be on Dynamite. Punk will be on Dynamite. So then you start pushing that into TNT's agenda of we want to promote it ahead of time. So at the same time, you can promote your pay-per-views and have your big debuts there, and still advertise for the TV shows. Like you gotta kind of play both sides of the fence a little bit, and it also depends on who it is. I mean, not every debut can be announced. Not every debut should be kept secret. So it depends on who it is.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And to go back to the point you made with John Cena and him showing up at Money in the Bank, he didn't say anything to Roman Reigns. He just stood there, let the crowd make their noise. He stood in front of Roman Reigns face to face, did the whole "you can't see me." We all knew why he was back and who he was targeting and what he wanted. And then WWE did the great thing of announcing him minutes after Money in the Bank went off the air that John Cena is going to be on Raw. John Cena is going to have a live microphone after so many years being away, and why he's back in WWE. He will explain that to you all on Monday night. I thought that was the simplest ways to do it, and it was brilliant. I mean, they got it right. One of the few things that they got right is how they handled John Cena and his return back to the WWE for SummerSlam. But I do agree with you. It depends on who it is. Like, Sting is synonymous with TNT. I mean, nobody really expected it. So in my eyes, the way I'm thinking about what Tony Khan's thinking about is, you know, nobody expected this. Nobody's really talking about it. Nobody knows at all. It hasn't been a rumor at all in the community. So I'm going to hold this close to my vest like I'm playing a poker game, and I'm going to just kind of reveal all my cards in one shot and let people go crazy with it. But yeah, with somebody else, yeah, I would say, yeah, he's coming in and promote it. But I think with Sting coming in that situation, TNT should be okay with it because A, it was during a pandemic show, it was in the middle of Daly's place, nothing was really going on. And B, someone like that is going to gravitate to the fans and they're going to be like, oh shit, Sting is back on TNT. What is he going to say next week? I got to tune in. So it's a double-edged sword, but TNT, I feel like they'll get their return on investment, even though it's not initially promoted. It will be promoted in the next week.
Exactly. I mean, and the thing is, you don't really have to be a fresh debut. I mean, you don't really want to promote a debut. That's why they make the vignettes and everything else, and you allude to it. But once Punk and Bryan get here, I'm going on under the assumption, obviously nobody really knows, but I'm going under the assumption these guys are not going to work every last single week, every last single Dynamite, every last single Rampage. So with that being said, when they have a week or two off and you know they're coming back for a week, start promoting it. Watch Dynamite this Wednesday. CM Punk comes back, since this happened to him. You can always promote these guys and they'll always bring extra viewers. So the chance is not done with promoting these guys. I don't think they're going to be working every last single time. So the time that they do, let's pump it, let's push it, and let's promote it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. This is going to be something to keep an eye on for that. But I think they've handled CM Punk's situation pretty damn well. I mean, all the innuendos. I mean, it's got all the community involved, and everybody's picking shit apart, and they're looking for all these clues that AEW's dropping. It almost became a game in itself. So I enjoyed the way that they've handled this situation so far, and all will be revealed on Friday. Speaking of Rampage, Jesse, what did you think of the ratings that they dropped for the debut episode. 740,000 viewers for the premiere episode of Rampage. A lot of people were making a big deal about this. Oh, it didn't get close to 1 million. Oh, SmackDown beat them. Oh, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But all my viewers, I think, are pretty keen and up on everything, and it's not that big of a deal. We don't really make ratings a big deal around here. I report it because it is news, and it is a talking point, especially with something that is a premiere episode like Rampage. But A, it's on Friday night, Jesse, at 10 p.m., right after SmackDown. B, I look at this rating, and I look back to the Dynamites that happened when they were preempted for the NBA Finals, and Dynamite on, TBS, it wasn't really drawing anywhere close to 740, maybe 400, like high 400s, like low 500s, and that was the extent of it. But you look at this in comparison when Dynamite was on preempted at the same time slot, this has got to be looked at as a big win for not only TNT, but AEW at that time slot on Friday night.
It's a humongous win. I thought that number was incredible. You got to look at a couple of different things here. First thing, whatever TNT was going to be airing in that slot normally was not going to garner 750,000 live viewers.
No, excellent. Yep.
So that right away, the network is happy. B, it's a debut of a show, so it's not always there. So a lot of people may have missed it on DVR and everything else. Not only that, it's like everybody said, it's a dead spot. It's really, really fucking late to make it appointment TV right now. I mean, the primetime slot is about 6, 7 o'clock, Eastern or Central, depending on where you are. But the time that show came on, everybody's about, done with it. If you think about like Saturday Night Live, a show like Saturday Night Live, Lorne Michaels, he'll put his best stuff on early as possible because he knows that people are not going to be sitting around looking at stuff, 2 hours into the show when you get into midnight and 1 in the morning. So the closer to the evening you can get, the better. And getting these kind of numbers on a debut show in that time slot, I think is a huge win, huge W, because it's only going to get better, especially with all of the hype coming in these next few weeks and everything else. And the fact that they have more talent to display so they can expand that show easily, I don't think it's going to stay in that spot. I think they're going to move it somewhere else in the week, and it's going to get even better numbers.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And that was an excellent point you made about whatever TNT would have put on in that time slot if it was one of their regular shows or whatever, a fucking vampire. I don't know what the fuck they're doing on TNT nowadays. But anything that would have been in that time slot would have been maybe not even half that AEW did. So that's an excellent point there. And again, I said this to you, I believe. I don't see this show staying at 1 hour. I think this show, like you said, moves eventually to a different night of the week, possibly on Saturday. Who knows? Maybe they get a little adventurous and they do something in the middle of the week somewhere. I have no idea. Maybe they move it to Tuesday. Who the hell knows? But I don't see it staying at 1 hour, and I don't see it staying at the 10 p.m. time slot. I don't.
Yeah, well, I mean they do have Thursdays. Thursdays are pretty much open for network TV.
They got Thursdays.
They got that, but again, if they want to get event, look, if they're pulling in 750,000 on this late night hour, why not throw it up against a Raw or SmackDown and split the rating with whoever you want to split the ratings with, and you'll still beat 750.
Yeah. I know. I'd be watching this shit over Monday Night Raw. I'll tell you that, especially in that third hour.
Easily.
Jesus Christ.
If they put it on at the after the Raw's first hour, so for me that's 8 o'clock. For you guys it's 9 o'clock, and they can just literally see how many people stop watching Raw and turn to TNT.
Yeah. I don't think that show stays where it is. I don't even. By the time we move it to TBS next year, I think maybe we're already in discussion about moving it to a different night of the week. But we'll see what happens. Friday, Jesse, do you think they do over 1 million with Punk's impending debut?
That's rough, man. Because again, that is a really tough spot. I think
they get as close to 1 million as possible. I mean, some people are predicting over 1 million. I think that's kind of a stretch. But I think if Punk is debuting on Friday, they get as close to 1 million as possible. And then the next week, right at the All Out show, that Friday is going to be the go home show, I would say. We're going to do over 1 million because people know he's there and people are going to want to tune in to watch.
Yeah, and another thing too is that the hype for this show online might be through the roof because we get there at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock your time. So I'm assuming they're gonna be filming some dark elevation matches and things like that. But if something goes on, in that arena as far as promos or announcements or things like that, it'll be all over Twitter before the show even goes live.
Bro, this is all over the place now anyway. I mean, you see commercials during Raw, NXT, SmackDown. I mean, they had a huge billboard in Times Square. They had a billboard right behind home plate at Yankee Stadium earlier this week. I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah, this show is selling itself because, well, this show is selling off of Punk's name and the rumors alone. If you think about it, over the last 6-7 years, that's how Punk has stayed relevant in wrestling. Rumors, fucking rumors. Very rarely do he come out and give us facts or truth to anything. Normally it's rumors and hearsay. And now these rumors have us waiting for him Friday night at the United Center.
I mean, you got to think about it. If they did 740,000 without him, I mean, there are a lot of people in this industry that are going to be watching who don't watch AEW. They're going to be tuning in just out of sheer curiosity. So a million might happen.
Yeah, everybody be watching. The naysayers, WWE fans, they'll all be watching to pick it apart and call it bad and everything else. Vince McMahon will be watching. Everybody will be watching.
Oh, they'll be watching for sure. And the card, ladies and gentlemen, for Rampage is as follows on Friday night. 3 matches have been announced, and Jesse, none of them really speak to me as main event. And I believe you said it last week. They don't have a main event announced for this show, and the 3-match limit is already met for this Rampage show. Listen to this. Jon Moxley with Eddie Kingston in his corner will face Daniel Garcia with 2.0 in his corner. This match was made after Garcia and 2.0 attacked Moxley and Kingston at the start of the show, which we will get into in just a second. We're going to tag team eliminator match, which is a 4-team tournament right now. The second match here will be Private Party versus Jurassic Express. Or this should be the first match, I should say. The second match happening on Dynamite next week. Private Party versus Jurassic Express. The winning team will move on in the tournament, and they will determine a number 1 contender through this tournament for the tag team titles held by the Young Bucks. Could be a main event match, but not really a main event match. Also, Jade Cargill will take on Kiera Hogan, and it was implied that Hogan could get a contract if she wins on Friday. None of these matches, Jesse, really speak main event anywhere. So we may get the first 40, I'd say 35, 40 minutes of this show with these 3 matches, probably less than that, and then the rest of the show is you know who.
Yeah, Moxley said that his match is going to be the main event.
Oh, yeah?
Him and Garcia. So, I mean, I can see that being the last wrestling match we see.
Well, how do you feel about a possible Jon Moxley CM Punk stare down in the United Center? After his promo tonight, he's calling out everybody, really.
What do you want me to say? Oh, that sounds awful.
Yeah, it sounds awful, man. Listen, I can't wait. I can't wait for Moist TV on Monday night, bro.
Let me tell you something, bro. I don't care if Punk comes out and fucking stares down Fuego del Sol. It does not fucking matter who Punk targets when he comes out. We're all expecting him to come out. We're all expecting Darby to interrupt. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm expecting to see Darby and Punk back in Chicago at All Out.
And it is going to be one hell of a show on Friday night, man. I can't wait. But that is what is announced for Rampage on Friday inside the United Center, which is supposedly going to be the debut of CM Punk. Dynamite itself. I got more news. We'll transition into the news as we see fit throughout this Dynamite review. Dynamite opened. Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston made their way to the ring. Wild Thing was playing. People were singing along. They were having a good time. And then all of a sudden, the former Ever Rise 2.0, which Jericho said, Jesse, signed a very short-term deal with AEW. I'm assuming it's a 3-month contract or something like that, maybe 120 days, 190 days or something like that. I don't know what it entails, but it's a short-term deal. And, you know, I don't really sit here bragging about 2.0 or Ever Rise. I was never a big fan of them, where they came from. I didn't know much of them before they hit the scene in NXT, but I mean, can you imagine what these guys are feeling like working for the hottest wrestling promotion in the world right now, knowing exactly where you came from and what's being done to the brand that you were formerly associated with, and you're now in the ring on Dynamite, on the hottest show in the industry, staring across fucking Sting and Darby Allin? I mean, it's fucking crazy.
Dude, I'm like you. When they came aboard, I mean, I think what I said was, I mean, I don't know why they're on Dynamite. I would rather see them on Dark and see how they goes there. These guys had a hell of a fucking night, man.
Yeah, I know.
They came off as I'm still not like the biggest 2.0 fans, but I rather enjoyed watching them sell. I enjoy watching them feed into Darby and Sting. They did well. They perform well. They get heat. I like these guys.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing their job, man. And you know, even though we're not fans of them, you got to feel for them. Just knowing where they came from and what was done to their former home and where they are now. They're probably losing sleep over all the excitement that's surrounding their fucking lives right now. It's great. It's a great thing to see.
It is awesome, man. They got to open the show, a hot show. They set the tone for this show.
And that's the most important fucking segment of any show.
It is. It is. I mean, clearly these guys were friends with the Bucks, you know, before everything else. And right away they scooped these guys up. They had no compete clauses. Why would they? And they don't know, WWE didn't care about them at all.
Yep.
And they're serving their purpose right now. They're interesting. I like seeing them lose. I want to see them come out next week and get beat up or get lucky and steal a win. I mean, I'm interested in what they do now.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Maybe they turn into something that Triple H and everybody else on his team didn't see. You know?
Yeah.
So
I won't fault Triple H for that, because he was trying. He need time. You need time.
Yep. And there was not a lot of time on that show at all, because they're fighting for ratings. They're fighting for spots on that show, and there weren't any spots really for those guys to have.
Yeah.
But Tony Khan made spots for them, and they attacked two of the biggest baby faces in the entire company with steel pipes and chairs, and they took them out in the crowd. Then they entered the ring. I'm sorry, Jesse, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. No.
And then they came into the ring and bragged to Sting that they just took out their guy. Sting wasn't even out there yet, so he makes his way to the ring. And we got this match starting off hot and heavy. Crowd was unbelievably red hot, white hot in Houston, Texas. Sting and Darby did stereo stinger splashes on 2.0. It didn't take long for this to kind of bleed into the crowd. Fans were chanting, "This is awesome" at Sting. Texas Tornado rules means free for all. You could do literally anything, and anybody can kind of come on in and join the fun. So Darby leapt off the bleachers. They were fighting in the bleacher area. He got thrown into the fucking ceiling at one point. They were brawling up there. He walked down the aisleway on the banister of wherever they were in Houston, Texas tonight. He did a big splash on top of everybody. Kingston came out after he was beat up. He dragged Garcia away and started pounding on him. Sting and Darby dragged 2.0 back into the ring and then slid a table into the ring as well. 2.0 then took out Sting and suplexed Darby onto his skateboard with the wheels turned up. I cringed. I don't know what you felt, Jesse, when you saw that, but that looked like it fucking sucked. But it's Darby Allin. I'm not really surprised. He loves the pain, I guess. So Sting got up and he tried to fight. Fans were chanting for Sting here. So 2.0 set up the table. And Sting was in the corner. He did the generic 10 punches in the corner. And then all of a sudden, both guys of 2.0 pulled Sting off the top rope. And they were about to powerbomb him through the table. I'm like, oh, they're not going to do this. They're not going to do this. They're not going to do this. They're not going to really go through with this. And he goes through the table, Jesse, 2.0. Double powerbomb Sting through the table that was set up in the ring. He goes through the table. He gets up. He no-sells it. Double stinger or scorpion death drop. And then he does a double scorpion death lock on both guys. They tap out. Sting and Darby Allin win. And it was one hell of a fucking fiery open. I'll tell you that. But as far as the suplex spot, or the powerbomb spot, Jesse, through the table, what did you initially think of it? Normally, I'd shit on something like that, but being that it's Sting, and I'm going to throw this at you, maybe they did this spot tonight and had him no-sell it. It was a slight, subtle shot to those that didn't think he was well enough or good enough to go against an Undertaker or still be used at this age in any capacity. Powerbomb me through the table. He gets up, he no-sells it, double Scorpion Death Drop, double Scorpion Deathlock, and Sting looks fucking great in the minimal use that Tony Khan is using him in, bro. This was fucking incredible.
Yeah, I saw this was something that, pissed off a lot of people on Twitter and everything else. I'll say this. I saw a lot of people even reference this to the Lio Rush no-sell table spot. And things like that.
Yeah.
I'll say this. Like you said, Lio Rush is not Sting.
No.
And not only that, this was actually a part of Sting's moveset and everything else. It's no different than someone doing these extravagant moves to Hulk Hogan, and all of a sudden he stops and starts hulking up and no-selling everything that happens to him.
Yeah, it's like the Undertaker receiving the fucking bonsai drop, bro, and sitting up after one bonsai drop. I mean, we all fucking we all marked out for that shit.
Yeah, these are not spots that everyone should be doing.
No. And
the thing is, there needs to be reason behind it, story behind it, and things like that. Undertaker, fine. Sting, fine, dude. I mean, a lot of these people complaining about it weren't even old enough to see Sting's old feuds and everything else, so they had no idea that this was just a part of what he does. And he's doing it in the midst of, a tag team squash match. These kids are doing everything they can to put this guy over to make him look great. And they put him through a table, legit. It had him popped out. They reacted to it and everything else. I thought this was a memorable fucking moment for me, at least, man. I mean, it's it's kind of like, I want to say it's kind of like a double-edged sword when you review wrestling, because when we watch so much wrestling reviews and they spend so much time shitting on shows like Raw and SmackDown, they turn into a legitimate wrestling show and they pick it apart, nitpick it for no reason. This is not a spot to nitpick. This was fucking awesome.
No.
If they did it again next week and the week after that, start nitpicking.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't happen all the fucking time. It's a part of his moveset, but he didn't do it every week. Maybe once every other pay-per-view or so. So when he did it, it was fresh and it was cool. I think people need to relax a little bit and try to get back to suspending their disbeliefs for a little bit and enjoying wrestling. I understand you got to suspend your disbeliefs a lot in other shows, and they ask you too much. But here, just let it go, enjoy it until you just start to get bored and you feel insulted by it. That's not the case with AEW right now.
No. And I guarantee you, everybody that was picking this apart and had a problem with this, a big problem, like you're going to lose sleep over it tonight because Sting no-sold a powerbomb through a table. Guarantee you it's people that just have now watched or started to watch professional wrestling, these millennial fucking fans who don't know any better. Guarantee you they don't even know what a Monday Nitro is or Raw is War is. They don't know the old school. This was Steve Borden pulling out one of his fucking signature things from the old school that pops the fucking TNT casual audience. I loved it. I love it. I have absolutely no fucking problem with it. And like you said, if this is a regular thing, which we know it won't because Sting isn't a fucking WWE legend that they use and abuse. If this is an every week thing, then yes, then have at it, pick at it, crucify it. But like you said, this was a one-time thing, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, and I think I think you can sum up all of WWE's complaining and everything like that. When we complain and we bitch about WWE, they're not doing anything that other companies don't do. They just run the shit into the ground. Every company shows rematches.
Yeah,
Raw does it all of that damn time. They all do this, they all do that, and we cringe at WWE because they run it into the ground and we're tired of it.
Yes.
So then when it happens, the once in the blue moon that it happens on AEW, people jump up and say, "Oh, well, you to bash this on Raw."
Yeah.
Because they do it all the fucking time.
But the champions on Dynamite, they lost. But you don't see JD, the Tony Khan payroll shill. He's not complaining about it. But if it happened on WWE, he'd be shitting all over it. Yeah, because AEW champions don't lose on TV every single week. When it happens, there's a fucking reason for it to happen.
Yep. And then when they give the reason of it's a story, let it play out, those stories have endings.
Yes.
Those stories have conclusions. And then we look back and say, oh, it makes sense. When they gave Alexa Bliss Bray Wyatt's gimmick, we complained about it, and everybody on the WWE side said, "Give it time. It's a story, and let it play out." Well, now they fucking fired him. What kind of story is this?
Well, JD complains about, Goldberg getting a title match, but he has nothing to say about Sting being on TV. I'm sorry, Geek. I'm not sure. Can you pinpoint the last time Sting showed up on a Dynamite show targeting a world champion undeservedly? I'd love to know. I mean, if you find that footage, please, inbox me. I love it.
Nope.
Give me a break, man. And if I was on Tony Khan's payroll, let me tell you something, geeks. You'd all know. You'd all know. I would even screenshot the fucking paycheck that he sends me.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Anyway. Sammy Guevara's getting a paycheck, Jesse. He's also getting a paycheck enough to propose to his girlfriend on Dynamite. He actually proposed to his girlfriend, Pamela, tonight, right before the show went on the air.
And I bet they don't book him into an angle where he's sleeping with somebody else next week.
And when he gets fired, I don't expect Tony Khan to fire him 5 years from now on his wedding anniversary.
On his wedding day, yeah.
You gotta throw it at them, man. The fucking bullshit that they do. Anyway, Sammy Guevara proposed. He's in a match against Shawn Spears tonight. Obviously, Shawn Spears is in the Pinnacle with Tully Blanchard. So they got a promo backstage, and they mock Sammy Guevara getting on one knee and proposing to his girlfriend. Shawn Spears says, slim pickings in Houston, I see. So then,
what a heel.
So then Shawn Spears, I'm not done. Then Shawn Spears says, when you're in the Pinnacle, you're on top. And he's going into the Pinnacle spiel. And then he says, Pam, and for one night only, I'll let you be on top.
So good. It gives Spears more heat, and it made the moment more genuine if you watch Sammy's vlog, repeatedly, because she's a big part of his vlog and everything else. So seeing him propose to Pam on TV was fucking awesome. It was great.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. He's incredible. And Shawn Spears, he's not like the greatest pro wrestler on the planet, but man, he is so fucking good. He's got the look, he's got the promo skills, everything about him just exudes, cockiness. He's in his role great. Tully's making him look great. And I love these one-liners, man. It's easy, and it's easy to pick on something when you're a heel like that, when a babyface does something like what Sammy Guevara does. And Pam, listen, honey, for one night only, I'll let you get on top. Oh! I feel like I'm watching fucking Dice, man. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what Spears reminds me of? He's a little bit of a Cody, in the sense of he brings his experience and his storytelling to a match. He doesn't have to come out there and try to outwork all these guys who are way younger than him, but show your poise, show some good mic skills, don't mess up in the ring. And just, he's so hateable too.
Yeah.
He's such a hateable heel. And he's a believable hateable. It's not like he's just looks like he's trying to force heat on himself. He looks like he's somebody you just want to punch in the face. I'm enjoying him. They're using him the right way.
Yeah.
When in the other place, people would say, well, he's not as good as this person. You can't do this. All AEW is doing is they're accentuating his talents. All right. And they put him in situations where his talents can, rise to the top and things like that, which is what you do with all your talent. You don't put them on TV and say, without an entrance, without your wife, you're nothing. And then they go put them on TV without your wife or your entrance.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Man, this is what people don't understand about AEW. Shawn Spears is a perfect example. You take what he has and you highlight what is best about him. Every single person that WWE is not using right now, they have something that they're not highlighting at all, and instead they keep them hidden. They don't use them. Oh, sorry, we don't have creative for you, pal. But Shawn Spears is good at so many things. Instead of keeping him in catering, Tony Khan is putting him on TV because he knows he's a valuable asset, and what he does great, he brings to the show at a great value. I love that. Absolutely love that. That's what WWE doesn't do with anybody, and it fucking pisses me off.
Well, that's the thing. When people, when they pick up, when AEW picks up guys like, like Black and and Brian and Punk, and the naysayers want to come out and say, "Oh, well, they're just picking up WWE trash." That's not WWE trash. Now, I'm not trying to slight these guys, but I will say, if you had to categorize somebody like that, I would say 2.0 and Shawn Spears might be considered WWE trash. And look what they've done to said trash. They've made them entertaining on television. That's all you got to do.
Why are they trash, Jesse? Because WWE thinks that they were trash and they were of no use to them or no value, and then their fan base, WWE's fans, the universe, is so fucking conditioned to follow along like lemmings off of a fucking cliff because WWE said so. It's got to be true. WWE did this. It's got to be right. But I mean, Shawn Spears